What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon ADC, checking out the Boker Club Knife. This one is an SMKW exclusive version of it with the copper and the Burlap Micarta. Also has an acid etched blade on that 01 tool steel, which isn't just a cosmetic thing, although I do think it looks great. It adds a layer of corrosion resistance to an otherwise corrosive steel. So that's definitely a nice thing. And one thing you'll probably notice when I'm doing this overview is that I just really love the way this thing looks pretty much across the board. But I do want to mention, if you've been following along on my traditional slip joint journey, you'll know that I've been pretty obsessed with them lately. I don't think I've done a ton of videos on them to this point, but I am trying to mix those in with my modern and all of the other type of videos I do. Last week kind of got a little bit distracted with the beginning of the month and all of the subscription services, but this week we'll probably see one or two traditionals. Obviously we're gonna see this one, but maybe one more. And so when I ordered this was kind of right when I was getting into it, and I ordered 5 knives total. So 2 Rough Riders, a marbles, and a case. And this one immediately jumped out as my favorite, just fell in love with it. And that's probably not super surprising, honestly, because when we're talking about like the Rough Rider and case, they're 1/5 of the price of this knife when I bought it. And the yeah, I said Rough Riders and marbles, hopefully, and not case. But the case even was pretty comparable in price. It was a little bit cheaper still than this one. And so, of course, the most expensive one hopefully will be the most impressive. That's not always the case, but hopefully it will be the most impressive. And in this case, it was. And I was so impressed with it that SMKW has another exclusive Boker Club Knife, the Expedition Club Knife. And I went onto the site to order it. And this I paid $99 for, which is pretty pricey, but not for a Solingen, Germany made Boker, but still pretty pricey compared to everything else. But when I went onto the site, it was actually on sale, as was the Expedition Club Knife, for $79.15. So hopefully when this video goes live, it will still be on sale. Actually, that's why I'm doing this video today rather than in the future. I was probably planning on doing this last of all of the ones I ordered, but ended up moving it to the front of the line. So hopefully you can get that sale price if you are thinking about picking it up. Now, even at $99, that's pretty cheap for a German-made Boker. A lot of times they're $150, $250. In fact, the Ironwood Club Knife is $250, and even sometimes more than that. And that's because there's a tariff that drives up the price to ship and sell these here in America. And so if you get this in Germany or anywhere in Europe, it would be significantly cheaper. However, being that it's SMKW exclusive, it's going to be limited to US customers. And so in general though, if you get a German-made Boker, it'll be cheaper in Europe. Now, did order that Expedition. There's another Ironwood version that I already mentioned at that $250 price point that I'd like to get at some point. It's probably going to be further down the line. I just trying to vary what I pick up, and I've already gotten 2 of these club knives, and so really want to experience a lot of different patterns, a lot of different companies. And so we'll probably wait a while. Maybe I'll luck out and they'll go on sale while I'm waiting. But onto this specific knife, really, really beautiful in my opinion. Love the Burlap Micarta. If you've never had Burlap Micarta, it feels a little bit different than your traditional micarta, which is usually a little bit tacky feeling in terms of the texture of it. It has a little bit of grippiness to it, and it absorbs the oils from your fingers. You can oil it to darken it. This has a really more pressed feel to it, where it's super smooth, almost like it's coated. I don't know that it is coated, but it feels super smooth and isn't really going to absorb the oils from your fingers and change colors much. Maybe a little bit if you were to oil it, you might get some slight darkness, but it doesn't feel like it's going to absorb much oil because it's so tightly pressed. And so something to keep in mind if you're like micarta for its grippiness, but I do love the way it looks and feels. And it's not exclusive to Boker, that Burlap Micarta feeling in general. I think I have a Spyderco Spy Opera that's also in Burlap Micarta and has a similar feel to it. So I think that's just what you get with Burlap Micarta. But I do think the copper really, really pops on that Burlap Micarta, especially these pins. It just really accentuates the copper look, and I think it looks really, really good together. Acid etch I also think looks really good, so it's kind of icing on the cake, but really well done as well. So it wasn't just the looks I fell in love with, just the feel of the knife. It's perfect fit and finish. I don't know if that's always going to be the case from those German-made Bokers, but at least this one is. We'll see when that Expedition comes in. But if I run my finger from bolster to bolster, you really don't feel any transition from bolster to the micarta, or when you run your finger over any of the pins and then back to the other bolster. All the way across, it's a smooth experience. Obviously there's some indents here that you feel, but in terms of transitions, you don't feel those at all. Same thing when you move over to the back, looking at the back springs, aligners, and then that micarta, no gaps in between any of them, and just perfectly done. The blade comes perfectly centered, or at least mine did. Again, of course your experience may vary, but with the one that I received, perfectly centered, and that back spring is flush in all three positions, as you can see now in the closed position. When we get that open to the half stop, it remains flush. And then same thing in that fully deployed open position, it remains flush. So all really, really good. Now, in terms of walk and talk, I mentioned in the first video on the Rough Rider that I did that I'm not going to assign numbers to it. I don't have enough experience to assign like an educated number. Maybe when I have 100 of these, I will start assigning some numbers. But for me, the pull feels pretty medium. It's not super light. I've seen a video on a different version of the club knife that someone said it was pretty light. Mine feels pretty medium. It's heavier than all of the other knives in this order. I have ordered more since then, probably another 15, and there are a couple that are a little bit heavier, but still would say this feels pretty medium. Really snappy action though, feels good in that half stop and that full open position. Really nice acoustics to it, and just feels good. And so it does have that math strike pull, and I don't really use it, but obviously you can. It's enough of that spear point blade is exposed that you can just pinch grip this and pull it out, but super smooth feeling. And then obviously nice kind of half stop and full stop, they feel good in both positions. And so feels pretty equal on the first half and second half, so don't really feel a difference there, which I did feel on some of the other knives. And so it feels pretty consistent, pretty smooth, and just pretty satisfying. Now the edge on it, it works. It was pretty, I wouldn't say great out of the factory edge, but it should be pretty easy to sharpen up, but did come a little bit on the dull side. Now the spear point blade, love the shape of it. You can see it has a nice wedge right here at the tip, which I think looks really good. Don't know if it's adding anything to that cutting performance, but do think it looks nice. And so on that tang stamp, you do see the Boker tree, Boker, hopefully it's focused enough that you can read that. It says Solingen 01, and so nice that it is that Solingen. I haven't experienced one of the Chinese made Bokers yet. I probably will at some point. Those obviously are going to be significantly cheaper, but I probably will check at least one of them out. But do think, you know, when I want to pick up a Boker traditional, I'm probably going to lean towards that Solingen factory for the most part, but I feel like I should at least experience one of those China made ones. Now, same thing, brass liners on the inside all the way around. I just think it looks excellent. You can see there's a little bit of a scratch there that was not there. Maybe you can't see it. I don't know. It wasn't there when I got it. I think I nicked something in my pocket, but overall I think looked excellent right out of the box. Didn't have to do anything or mess with it to get everything lined up and centered, which again is something that you do experience. I feel like I've had pretty good luck across the board. I've had a couple that were slightly off center, especially the like multi-blade ones, but I think that's honestly just pretty common and something to be expected, so not too worried about it. I feel like I've been pretty lucky fit and finish wise pretty much from all of the brands that I've tried so far. Hopefully that doesn't change now that I said that, but really great knife. Let's talk about the dimensions quickly. 3.75 inches on this handle, so kind of nice size on that handle. You can choke up a little bit and get nice 4-finger grip on here. You have a 2.5 inch blade. Again, spear point style blade. Really, really nice blade on there. It's pretty thin, as most of these slip joints are at 0.08 inches thick. And so relatively thin blade stock there, and like I said, really excellent action. Weighs in at 2.4 ounces. The overall length when you're fully opened is 6.25 inches, so kind of a nice medium-sized knife. Pretty large in terms of most of the traditionals I've picked up have been smaller up until this point. Definitely have some larger ones after this one, but gonna try and do my videos for the most part in order as I'm getting them, so it's kind of following along that journey. Obviously I'm a little bit behind. These have been out, I've had these for weeks at this point, and so it's going to be a while before you see like the 20th knife in the collection, because I'm trying not to do all traditional knives. Like tomorrow's video will be on a modern knife, and I'm mixing in, you know, all of the normal content. Last week there was hardly anything besides subscriptions, which is why I did a couple extra videos last week just to make sure I keep it moving along. But we'll try and kind of follow along in the same order as I'm ordering them. This one was scheduled to be the last one of that order, of those 5 knives that I ordered. However, since it's on sale, I figured I could push it up, and hopefully more of you can kind of take advantage of that sale price if that's something that you want to pick up. But overall, still, even after the recent additions, one of my favorite traditional slip joints so far, and I think it's going to stay there for quite a while. The Expedition is supposed to arrive tomorrow, so we'll see if that one takes the cake, but visually I think I like this one a little bit better than the Expedition, so don't think it's going to push it down the list, because even if it has perfect fit and finish, this one already did, and so going to be hard to dethrone this one, but we'll see how it goes. But let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have any of the other patterns from this series, there's probably 5 or 6 patterns from this series that you think I should check out. I may, while they're still on sale. I'm definitely not going to do the ironwood because it's significantly pricier. This one's kind of in line at $79. It's in line with case prices, and so may end up ordering 1 or 2 more of these from the other patterns, but we'll see how it goes. But again, let me know what you think in the comments. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button if you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.